Avivv has been one of the most consistent players in the last two chapters, so in today's video, we're going to break down how he nearly dropped a 30 bomb in the solo victory Cash Cup finals. Avivv lands at this metal structure just south of restored reels. This drop is pretty strong because it gives you a significant amount of metal, it's close to cacti, and also there is 3 shield barrels. However, it's gonna get pretty hectic for him off spawn. After looting up on spawn, he's immediately pushed by an opponent who landed south of him. However, he starts off this fight with a significant amount of damage, hitting that opponent 3 times. However, though, as he's reloading, another opponent jumps on his head and hits him for a good amount of damage. He starts to pop a mini, but leaves a right-hand peek open here and hits that opponent for 80. He then decides to play incredibly aggressive, using a Nitro Splash to get in and actually catching the opponent off guard, but it was a close 50-50, but he hit his shots and won. He's still immediately third-partied by another opponent. However, since he's around 100 HP, he still decides to play slow. He gets his shield up and then immediately pops a Nitro Splash to give him a significant speed boost, catching this opponent off guard as he jumps through, hitting him twice in the air, and cleaning up this sticky off-spawn situation. At the time of recording this video, Nitro Fist were still in competitive game modes. He immediately runs into an opponent here just outside of his drop and tries to start off the fight with some damage, but unfortunately ends up missing a good amount of shots and actually starts off at health disadvantage. He eventually does get a little bit of chip damage, but the opponent actually does more damage initially. However, he's going to finally be able to close up this engagement when he hits the opponents for 82, causing him to box up, and then he uses the pre-burn Nitro Splash to get in the opponent's box, catching him off guard and cleaning up this elimination and getting the much needed Nitro Fist. Fortunately for Avivv, that elimination resulted in him in getting the Mythic AR as well as the medallion. So he's pretty much stacked for the game. However, an opponent immediately box dives into him, but fortunately his quick reaction time allows him to escape and essentially full box the opponent as he tries to box out, hitting a nice edit and then cleaning up this elimination without taking any damage. In the next engagement, Avivv is going to get a significant damage advantage onto this opponent. However, this opponent is going to continue to run, which is going to burn through Avivv's materials. And after a long and drawn out and lengthy fight, eventually Avivv is going to pressure this opponent's wall and get caught off guard as the opponent makes a full brain dead 50-50 play, running directly at him and getting him sub 10 HP. He's now forced to back off because he has no materials and the storm is coming in. He very riskily uses the fist to get out of this situation, but also he does have the medallion, so he stalls by building up with what little materials he has left. And fortunately, his good aim here allows him to win after the opponent once again hits him in the air, getting him to sub 10 HP. Avivv's next elimination is going to be a whole lot more clean. As he catches this opponent hiding in this roof here, he's going to eventually start off the fight with a little bit of chip damage with his shotgun, and then once again get some more chip damage with his Mythic AR. And as the opponent tries to disengage, Avivv uses his top tier aim to take him out of the sky, thus granting him another elimination. Avivv is going to once again eventually start off this fight with a damage advantage with his AR and then get even more chip damage with his shotgun. This play can no longer be made in competitive, however, the uppercut with the fist was so strong, launching his opponent and also giving him damage advantage. And take a look here, instead of wasting his materials trying to get into a build fight, with this side jump here, he ends up taking out the opponent with a fantastic shot while jumping to the left, thus granting him elimination while saving materials. Avivv's next elimination is going to follow the same blueprint we've seen throughout this VOD review. He's going to start off with a significant amount of damage using his Mythic AR and then get chip damage with a shotgun. This time though, he reads the opponent's aggression with a Nitro, not taking any damage and hitting a massive shot. And as that opponent panics and doesn't effectively build, he quickly cleans up this elimination from distance without taking any damage. This next elimination is incredibly free as he uses the fist to claim some height here and then hits the opponent for 1 tan on landing. Eventually, that opponent does everything in his power to disengage, but eventually Avivv is going to be able to close the distance when he boxed up and clean up this elimination easily. This next elimination is incredibly free, as Avivv gets pressured by an opponent who's trying to claim the loot, which he just got, but unfortunately for him, he scuffs mechanically and Avivv 200-0s him with his mythic AR. The next elimination is obsolete in comp, as he sees this opponent who's boxed up on the river's sticks, and he just simply uses his nitro fish to get in and catch that opponent completely off guard, hitting 2 shots and getting a free elimination. Elimination number 12 is going to be an exact repeat of what we just saw. He's going to start off the fight with a significant amount of damage with his mythic AR, use dashes and fists to close the distance, and eventually just jump in with the fist, getting another free elimination. In this next engagement, Avivv follows the same formula. He's going to start up getting some elevation with the fist, and then lands on the opponent, hitting him with a shotgun shot, and then eventually, as the opponent tries to dash away, cleaning it up with the mythic AR. In this next clip, Avivv is going to show some fantastic use of the Nitro Splash. He's going to follow the same routine we've seen, start off the fight with a significant amount of damage and close the distance. However, this time when this opponent boxes up, he ends up getting third party here. Take note of the position, as Avivv, instead of getting in between him and the third party, causes the opponent he's fighting to become sandwiched, and then he uses the Nitro here to break the builds, claim the wall, and slide into cone and clean up this elimination. In the next engagement, this opponent is terrified, running away from Avivv, and Avivv shows off his top tier aim, getting another 200-0 out of the sky. As Avivv decides to rotate in the zone, he sees this unsuspecting victim who's not covered his head. He jumps immediately in the box, and the opponent also ends up eating damage from other opponents, and Avivv is able to easily get in and get another free elimination. This next elimination is a little less clean. He continues to play aggressive, using the fist to close distance. However, he ends up using the Nitro here to break the opponent's wall, and once it's weak, as the opponent replaces, he takes it, hits his shots. However, he ends up getting third-partied here, getting hit with the now vaulted mythic bow. Avivv is going to immediately punish the opponent who is pressuring him, starting off the fight with a significant amount of damage with the AR. He's going to try to use the fist to close the distance. However, this time he uses the Nitro medallion to break the build, catching this opponent off guard, hitting 2 shots, and then getting another elimination. The next elimination follows the same formula. As this opponent tries to rotate, Avivv ends up hitting him for a significant amount of damage, getting him sub 25 HP, and eventually Avivv is going to pressure his wall and then uses the Nitro coin to get in, break the structures, and clean up this elimination, once again not taking a single bit of damage. It's now getting very close to the endgame, and Avivv does not have the brick materials he needs. He gets a max pull zone, but take note here how the entire lobby is passive, and Avivv decides to just play incredibly aggressive, getting to the front side of zone. This is going to set up his next elimination. As opponents are rotating into him, he ends up getting a significant beam, which causes him to play aggressive, but unfortunately for him, that opponent ends up going down. But this aggressive play is still going to result in an easy elimination, as he does damage to another opponent, thus giving him confidence to W key on the low ground. And as the opponent tries to claim that loot, he doesn't have this sidewall and ends up going down, and now Avivv gets a full maximum refresh right before the moving zones. After picking up this elimination, things almost turn disastrous. He ends up using the Nitro to catch this opponent off guard and does a significant amount of damage. However, he ends up scuffing his shots here, and the opponent nearly takes him out by barrel stuffing him with the Nitro fist. Fortunately though, Avivv smartly elevates and uses a good amount of hard materials, and he's able to recuperate his HP with floppers and the medallion that gives you shield. On this next rotation, Avivv is going to make a mistake. After trying to get this opponent on the low ground, he decides to start off this next engagement in this moving zone on the dead side with a good amount of damage. However, he's going to scuff mechanically here as he tries to Nitro in the opponent's box, being unsuccessful and being forced to move up to a lair where he actually gets caught off guard and nearly ends up going down after attempting 2 upswings with the Nitro fist. But fortunately, he's able to escape, barely being sub 70 HP. After escaping and healing back up, Avivv is going to smartly look for a hide here, realize it's not supported, chop it out, and immediately go up with the Nitro Fist. Then we're going to witness one of the most suspect kills I've ever seen doing this VOD review series. He ends up 39ing this opponent multiple times, in midair, picking up a much needed refresh. After griefing height and picking up that elimination, he's going to rotate to the dead side of zone and get a perfect timing opportunity as he decides to play aggressive on this opponent's wall. Actually, the opponent opens an edit for him and he's able to easily barrel stuff him, once again getting another elimination in this end game. After this next elimination, it is time for Avivv to finally go for height and claim it. He sees multiple opponents in the sky, but smartly ends up using his mythic AR to chop out height, which gives him advantage over everyone, and as he lands, he immediately connects to the lobby. Realizing that he's the highest player, he eventually cranks up, deciding to DC ramp here, and he's going to get a massive 2-3 eliminations on opponents below him just using his fantastic aim. Avivv continues to hold this high ground and survives the first challenge by simply reconnecting. A little later on though, opponent has a much better chop out. However, Avivv's crosshair placement ends up beaming that opponent, and then he's also granted another elimination into Storm while being able to still maintain high ground. Avivv is going to remain on high ground for the rest of the match, and fortunately for him, the opponents on low ground essentially grief each other as two fight on the low ground and one goes back early to play medkits. Avivv doesn't have a significant amount of whites, however he does have 4 floppers, and after picking up that elimination, he's going to take all of the medkits on the ground here, which is going to allow him to win this heal off and also get the $100 and victory royale. In today's VOD review, we demonstrated Avivv's importance of rotating early so you can look for impacts and moving zones, as well as the ability to train your aim because it truly makes the game significantly easier. And we also saw the importance of playing for the best items in the game, the mythic AR and the medallion, which makes everything a whole lot easier in terms of starting fights, getting impacts, and overall being able to survive when getting cracked. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's VOD review. I hope that you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.